Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So it's January 6th. I actually have some really nice weather for being January. There is a little snow on the ground, but not much at all. It's about 31 degrees out, so it's a nice t-shirt weather around here. So we're gonna go on a service call. My buddy Zach sent me a message. He's like, hey, I went to do some digging with the 690B, and he said it won't swing. And he's nervous that it's the swing box. He thinks something happened in the swing box. So I said, don't worry, I'll come over and check it out. I said, it can't be something serious. I said, you didn't feel anything crunching or anything like that? He said, no, it just won't swing. He said, it just labors the engine. So we're gonna head over there and check it out. We're gonna go the back way since it's not too far from the shop. I've got my mobile shop on wheels here. Got all the tools we need, so let's get over there and see what's going on with the old John Deere 690B. So I don't think it's going to be anything too major. So let's go check it out. Here it is out here in the Arnold Prairie, where Zach's been playing with it. This is a borrow pit that we dug for his new shop and house project. There's the old 690. Sitting out here in all her pride. I love these old hoes. Just something about them. So I'm gonna turn around to the American side of my truck. Passenger side's all metric. Driver side's all American. Since she's some old American muscle, that means that we're gonna need some American tools. So let's go see what she's got going on. Get her started and let her warm up a little bit. First thing we'll do is we'll check and make sure there's no major oil leaks anywhere. I don't see no oil running out, hydraulic oil. Nope, I think we're good. No blown hoses, so that's not the problem. Let's go ahead and start it, let it warm up, and see what its symptoms are. Alright, so it's that time to warm up, so let's see if we can diagnose what's going on with it. Yep, definitely has a problem. So to me, it doesn't feel like it's got an issue in the swing box. Because if it had an issue in the swing box, it'd have to be totally locked up. And usually that's not how it goes. Usually they either just free swing around, or they'll move a little bit, or you hear something going on in there. And there's nothing going on. It's like solid, like it's held. So that tells me it's the house lock. So, let's see. The house lock switch is right here. So it's off. So that's not the problem. The house lock switch here, which is the one you can squeeze with your pinky to activate. The spring's okay in it. It moves. So we'll go out to the solenoid valve and we'll check that and see if it's got 12 volt. See if, because it takes 12 volt to hold the house lock off on these. Okay, so I got my test light. I'm gonna check the solenoid down here. It's hard to see, but it's back in there. Well, I don't know if I can get the camera. Right down in here. Let me put the test light on it. Right down in there is the solenoid for the house lock. So it's not lighting up. So that means there's no power to it. If there's no power to it, to it to unlock. So we need to figure out why we don't have power there. So we're back at the cab now. We're gonna look, see if we got any rodent damage or anything like that, because these old hose, they tend to get mice and stuff in them. This one had some kind of squirrels that drug some nuts in it at one time, and there's been some wiring repairs up in here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull around on some wires and see if I can't find a bad connection. That yellow wire right there, that one right there, runs out to the house lock solenoid, so it's got to be an issue there. So I'm going to play around in there and see if I can't find a bad connection. So that's what it ended up being, was a bad connection. It's not a heat shrink butt connector like I like to use, it's just a regular crimp style. So I wiggled it around. I got it in idle now. I wiggled it around and must have had some corrosion or something in there, because it's working now. But I'll go out and I'll show you that we got power to that solenoid now. Alright, so we're back out here. See if we got power. Yep, we got power. We're good to go now. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and pull this apart and get in there and see if I can redo that butt connector, just so it don't happen again, because it happened while he was digging, and it kind of slammed in one side of the cab because it just locked up all at once. So we don't want that to happen again, so we're just going to go ahead and fix it right while we're here. Screws might be a little stripped out in here. Hopefully this will lift up like I want it to. Yeah, it will. Hopefully they left the cables long enough for the throttle and the fuel stop. Get the pliers and see if I can pull that out. Have to get some of the new tabs that the screws thread into. Over time, they just kind of deteriorate. There we go. All right. There we go. Now we can get it in there. All right. Let me see what's going on. If I can get this plastic worked out a little bit. There it is. It just flipped up out of here. Yeah, there's our culprit right there. That's what was causing our problem. I wiggled this wire and everything started to work. And I got this other wire that came out of this one. I have to figure out what that one's for. Yeah, or no, they just splice. Why would they just splice them together like that instead of running them? Oh, sometimes I wonder. While we're in here, oh, that's probably why the blower don't work. Because the blower won't even turn the knob. I'll have to get him a new blower switch. Because, believe it or not, this 690B cab is in pretty good shape compared to a lot of them I've seen. A lot of them don't have this plastic anymore. It's usually gone. This one's even got the factory heater box and everything still behind the seat, which is really cool, because the 690B I grew up in, all that stuff was stripped out of it, and my dad actually put just a little radiator looking type heater under the seat that he got from Napa, and that's all that one had for heat. But this one's still got the dual squirrel cage fan and everything back there, so that's pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna get some tools and see what we can do with this. So while we're here, I decided that I want to see if we've actually got power to the blower motor. So let's find out if we got power to the switch here in the cab, which we do, but the switch just don't turn. Let's see what happens if we give it a, ooh, yeah, that switch ain't been used in a while. So I'll have to get some new switches for it, but there's definitely power to it, so that's a good thing. So the let's see if the other, well, that knob's turned all the way. Well, that opens the valve for the water to come in the heater box for the heat. It seems like it wants to move. I don't want to force it though. I don't want to cause any problems any more than we have for now. But that's all stuff we can fix later. We'll get him some heat in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put all this back together, and I re-crimped everything and sealed it all up, so I think we're good to go. I think it'll be okay now. So let me get all the screws put back in here, and we'll run it for a little bit and make sure that it's okay. Well, let's do a little digging. Make sure everything's gonna work. Can't threaten me with a good time. outside and get some video. Well, everything seems to be functioning properly. Zach will be happy with it. It's fixed. He can come out here and he can continue to learn how to run an excavator. Told him the best way to do it is just sit here and dig a hole. Like I said before, this is all fill dirt that we hauled up to his shop up there. And we also need some more fill dirt for his storage building that he's putting up. So I told him just kind of throw some dirt out and then it can sit here and dry. And then next spring, when everything's fit, we'll go ahead and we'll bring dump truck over and haul it up. So that's how I learned how to run an excavator in a 690B. That's why these are so special to me, because I spent a lot of time right here between that back wall and that seat, looking over Dad's shoulder, learning how to dig ditch, learning how to take trees out, learning how to bust concrete up and do demolition work. So that's how I got my start, is in the back of one of these. So that's why they're so special to me. That's why I want to eventually own one, and I want to build a remote controlled RC excavator that is a model of a John Deere 690B. And actually, while I'm here, I'm going to pull a tape measure out and take a few measurements of this one, because this part of the excavator is considered the house. So from counterweight to the front of the cab here is the house, and that's the first thing that I'm working on designing for my remote controlled 690B. I've already got part of the cab designed, but I need all the measurements for the length and the width of the house, and then I can start designing that part. Once I get that part all designed, then I'm going to work on the boom and the stick. And in fact, I can actually buy a boom and stick already built that I can modify to make look like this boom and stick. Now, if you look at this boom and stick and compare it to my other newer excavators like my Hitachis and my Hyundai, you'll notice that they are actually steel plates that are formed into a stick. Now, this boom and stick are actually channels that are seamed together here in the middle. They're not actually flat plates. So that's kind of the challenge of making my RC one. I want it to have these nice rounded edges just like the real thing would. Now, I could cut out strips of steel, make it look like the other excavators, but that's not what I want. I want it to have this nice rounded look. So I got to get creative on that. I got to figure out how I'm going to do it. Plus, I want this stacked plate effect like they did on these. So you've got 1, 2, 3 plates here that are laid over these formed channels to make the stick. And then you've got the same thing up here on the boom. You've got 1, 2, 3 plates, well, 2 plates over the formed boom. So that's going to be a little tough, but I think I can pull it off. So, but my main goal was to get the house done. I got to get all these panels, because these panels actually swing out, and I got to get the dimensions on them to get those right. My ultimate goal is, when I'm all done, to power my 690. It is going to be hydraulic, but it's still electric, because you got to have an electric motor that runs a little hydraulic pump. My goal is to be able to open the back grill up, and I want to slide some sort of cordless tool battery in there. Not sure if it's going to be like the Bauer brand or Hercules brand 12 volt power tool battery from Harbor Freight, or I'm going to slide in the M12 Milwaukee battery. I don't think it's going to be big enough by scale in order to get like an M18 Milwaukee battery in there, which that'd be ideal because it'd run for quite a while on that. So all things that I got to figure out, got to get creative, because as far as I know, nobody has done a John Deere 690B RC model yet. So mine will be the first. And then I want to play around. I might make 2 of them, and I'd like to make a long reach one, because I've never seen a 690B in real life with a long reach. The one that I did run had 3 foot added to the stick, but I've never seen a true long stick, long boom, long reach John Deere 690. probably wouldn't handle it, but it'd be still kind of cool. You could probably put a 50 footer on there, like a 50 footer for like a 160 Hitachi would probably be okay. These are about, I think they're about 37,000 pounds. So they're actually a little bigger than they look weight-wise. They do look like they're a good-sized machine, but they're kind of on the light side because they're kind of hollow inside. But anyways, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. I know it wasn't that exciting of a repair. Just literally had to wiggle some wires and recrimp some stuff. But hey, at least we got to play around with the 690 a little bit. So if you enjoyed these videos, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to know. If you enjoy them, we can do some more content with 690. So for me, it's just fun because it brings back a lot of memories playing with these old hoes. So thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see you all in the next one. And I'd also like to thank Zach very much for getting me a 690B to play with. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it.